This video is going to guide you on how to change your screen layout in RoadEng and how to develop pick lists for faster data entry. So here is the screen layout that we've been working with for currently, and it's sort of basic traverse data entry. But now let's say you wanted to add some more columns, like say you were gathering data in the field and you were gathering tree heights or tree species or other tree attributes. You may want to have separate columns for all that data rather than entering all of that under label or comments. So if you haven't done already, make sure to go File and retrieve your screen layout that you're going to use. Now remember, there are different types of screen layouts, so there are some default ones by Softtree, the company that makes RoadEng. But this is one we're going to start with and work with. Now remember, if I start here and I tab, I can add in my foras, I can add in the back or skip it, and my slope distance. It already calculates, say it was 13% slope, it'll adjust the horizontal distance, and then you could type in a label, and we'll call that tree, for instance. Or in this case, actually, let's do this, it'll be our POC. And if I keep hitting tab, now, if this was a radial shot, I could, let's say that was 32, etc. So you can keep entering data this way. And you notice how the tabbing sort of moves you through from cell to cell in a logical manner. So let's play with that. So if you go to Edit, and you go to Traverse Entry Options, this is where you can change the layout. So if we want to add some columns, here's where we could do that. I want to add a new column, and my new column is going to be tree species. With the tree species, we're going to add what's called a pick list. So I'm going to edit the pick list to add items such as cedar. I'm going to add another one, Douglas fir. Add another one, you know it, hemlock. And by checking this box here, it means that if any of my trees aren't these commonly found trees, I can still type in that cell. So I'm going to click OK. Now here, to make sure that we are wanting this to be an attribute that is available at stations rather than between stations. And you're going to say OK. Now we could also add another one like tree height. And this one, I don't really care if it's I don't want a pick list, I just want this to be a numerical value. So I'm going to click OK. Great. And now let's see what that looks like. Great, so now there's these other columns. But now let's see what happens when I start entering data. So let's say it was 34, and let's say, oh look at that, now it's like skipping all over the place. It's not even going to where we wanted. So there's an issue with the tabbing, and tabbing issues can be resolved by going to that same place. So I went to Edit and then Traverse Entry Options, Tab Enter Sequence. So this is the order in which, when you start tabbing, that things are selected. For some reason, when we add new columns, it seems to change the prior sequence. So here's what we want to do. You want to match the sequence of data that you want to enter in these columns in this over here in the sequence here. So type would be my first one, and don't ask me why it disappeared. Foreshot is up here. There we go. We want foreshot. After that we want back shot. So I'm going to add and shift this up. Then we've got our slope distance, add slope percent, add, and notice how I'm shifting it up so it's in the right sequence. Then we've got our label. We don't want horizontal distance, so I'm going to remove that. And then if we were going to add tree species, and there we go. Say OK. So now what ends up happening is I'm going to start here. So that's a foreshot. And then here's my back here's my slope distance, slope percent. Oh, that's strange. Label. And now I can drop down, and you could just type CW. Oh, and that's not working. You'd have to click, I guess. CW. And then let's say the height was 34 meters. Great, now I'm going to tab again, and this time let's say it's a radial shot. By the way, if you click in here, you can add, say your back shot was 35 degrees, it will automatically adjust it and show you the difference, which I think is pretty cool. Now, slope distance is going to be, let's say 45% will be 10%, and you could type in a label, maybe tree, and then here you can select your species and say it was 30 meters high. So this is how you can add more meaningful columns when you're collecting lots of attribute data in the field using Road Eng.